Hi folks, my name is AJ. Let's talk about how to debug your Lambda functions today. Lambda functions can often run into issues, be it errors or it's slow, users are having issues, but they are very hard to debug. Now there's an obvious choice here to use CloudWatch for debugging your functions. So we are going to try to do that, but we are then also going to look at how to have an easier time debugging your functions using Sentry. So let's get started. So here we go. I'm using this sample serverless web application. Found that on AWS, it's a fun application called Wild Rides. Essentially, you can request unicorn if they exist. All right. So I'm using this application. You can set it up yourself. It's just as simple as setting these 4 modules up. Okay, so this is the application. You can anywhere in the world essentially request a unicorn. So I'm gonna pick Seattle here and then request a unicorn. And shortly the unicorn is going to show up. Okay, so the application works great. What I'm going to do that now is go into my Lambda function and force it to fail. So I have a not defined function in here. I'm gonna save this and deploy the function. Now let's go over in the meantime to our application. I'm gonna refresh the page. And now let's set the location. We're going to request a unicorn again. And this time it should error out. Okay, so here we go. Now, this is an error that has happened in my application. And because I set it up, so I know it is coming from Lambda function. But usually your users, once they face the issue, you have no idea. Okay, so you go, the way to debug this is you go into CloudWatch logs. Now I have a bunch of different log groups. I'm in my log groups here. I'll have to first know which log group to search for. Now the log group comes from a specific resource. So I'm going to use request unicorn because that was my function. Right. Okay, so now I have my resource. Now the next thing I need to do is to identify which of these streams may have that error. If the error has happened 2 days ago, you'll have to then go by event time and see which stream is active at that time. Because I know this was my last action, I know this might be in the latest stream. I'm going in there, and here are a bunch of logs. Right? I only have few logs because it's a test environment. Now, as I see in this, trying to debug the issue, I do see an invoke error here. So let's open this up. It has some data in there. It says not defined function. So it's coming from there. And then there is some info for finding and receiving the event. Okay, so that was CloudWatch. What I find hard about it is it's super hard to find the right logs. And then it is also hard to find all the connected context in order to be able to debug the issue quickly. So while I can debug using CloudWatch, it takes me much longer to find what the root cause of an issue is, so I can fix it and provide good user experience. So next we are going to look at Sentry. Sentry is an open source, one of the best issue tracking tool out there. I'm going to use Sentry. It's super easy to set up. So let's see how to do that. And then we are going to go and jump into resolving the issue. Okay. So here we go. Right. So in order to set up Sentry, I'm going to initialize it. And I'm going to wrap my handler here. Okay, save it. And then deploy it. In the meantime, we can reload our Wild Rides app. Pick a location, request a unicorn, should error out. There we go. Now let's go over to Sentry. So we are on Sentry's issues page now. And the function that just errored out, that error is showing up here. So we threw a not defined function error, and that's what we are seeing here. It's coming from the function called request unicorn. Seems like our function. What I love about it is I don't have to go into finding the log group and streaming group and the log statement that gives me more information about the issue. Not only that, I have information on how many of such events have happened, how many users are impacted by it, what has been the trend over the last 24 hours or 14-day period. And when I go into the issue, uh, and this is the part I like the most, is I can see my source code based stack trace. So I know exactly where the error is coming from, what other threads are running at the time, and what are other runtime environment details. Right? So the node version, for example, the transactions, the URL, the release that caused the issue. Now, Sentry has automatically identified some of the breadcrumbs that are helpful for me to be able to reproduce the issue. For example, it is now saying that the finding unicorn at this coordination at these coordinates is a method call that happened. Right? So I know that the function had reached to this point before erroring out. So I have those breadcrumbs. I do have the AWS request ID, so I can connect all the other pieces that are related to this request. I'm also getting the time it took to execute this specific function. And then finally, if I do want to go into AWS CloudWatch logs, Sentry is deep linking me into those CloudWatch logs, so I can get directly to where the issue is, and then expand from there to find more details around it. So all in all, I love Sentry because it's much easier for me to find the issue, much easier for me to see the impact on users, and much easier to resolve the issues because I have all the context and the stack traces in place. So that's it. Thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about Sentry versus CloudWatch logs. You can leave the comments here or send me feedback directly. Thank you.